Hello guys, welcome to another video. Rimuru x Eminence in Shadow by elite3532. Chapter 15. Third POV. A few days have passed and everything went back to normal, aside from a few details. First, Sid didn't come back to the academy and in fact all signs of him disappeared. This worried Claire, but at the end she was reassured by Rimuru, stating that Sid was injured and now is getting treated in a special hospital. So Claire was forced to stay down and continue on with her life while hoping for Sid's good. For Rimuru, he continued his research and common life with Beatrix, while some time hanging out with Olivier. Everything appeared fine without any issue, but behind, Rimuru was still thinking about his outburst. He also rethought about Sid and his behavior. Ultimately, he couldn't bring himself to forgive him. The more he thought about it, the more he realized how excluded Sid was inside the family. Talking about Sid, he was now conscious. Forced to lay on a medical bed, he could just stare at the ceiling. Sid POV. Well, this sure went on in an unexpected way. Still, what kind of cheat code was that? Rimuru is really the final boss. He can't be the main character because he is already way too overpowered. He can't be the villain, so the only option is the op character that supports the hero during the entire story. But I think he went overboard this time. Judging from my state, I will stay here for a few weeks, maybe months. Though Ada did say something about replacing part of my body or something like that, I didn't really understand. Sid. Rimuru could just join the play and stop before almost killing me. Well, at least I can now make the Eminence in the shadows disappear for a few months before coming back even stronger. Yes, I just have to recover and come back. Now what kind of class entrance should I make now? Third POV. Around the same time, Rimuru was working on a new uniform. The clothes he had worn until now were normal ones. But after seeing Shadow Garden's slime suit, Rimuru had the idea to create a uniform much more resistant. At first all his focus was on making a sword artifact, but now that he had recovered Oblivion, the weapon problem is solved. However, he didn't expect a sudden visit from Ada. The girl casually appeared in the room with dead eyes. If you were to compare her with the normal sleepy Ada, they would be two different people. Rimuru. I didn't expect to see you here. Ada, we need to talk. Taking her seat right in front of him, only a messy desk separated them. Ada. Why? After a long and awkward silence, the girl finally spoke up. Ada. You always loved your family above all, so why suddenly put Lord Shadow in that state? Her eyes were already wet from all the emotion stacked inside her. Rimuru. He went too far. I don't have to justify myself over that. I had let you guys run around, but even I have a limit. Ada. I don't understand what is more important. You didn't say anything when Lord Shadow blew up a big hole in Midgar. Rimuru. It seems you didn't hear about the whole story. Well, whatever, just so you know, I don't consider Shadow as my family. Ada. What, Rimuru? Sid is but Shadow is someone who tried to harm my family. The tension rising at each word he spoke, Ada looked down saddened. Her genius mind already deduced that much, but hearing it directly is another thing. Ada. I see, so we are enemies now? I don't want that. Rimuru. Ada. I don't want to fight you. You are the only one who can understand me, so don't make me choose between you and Shadow Garden. Tears started to fall one by one on her hand. Her back was bent, which made her small figure appear even smaller. Her words were genuine, and this made Rimuru hesitate for a moment. Unfortunately for her, he already had his mind set and this won't change. Rimuru. I already said it, I am neither your ally nor your enemy. Just from now on, if Shadow Garden meddles in my life, I won't stand by and watch. Ada flinched hearing his cold voice. It seemed there was really no way to change his mind. She could only nod and accept this new reality, but deep inside she was reassured. This is like a warning, but as long as you respect this warning, nothing will happen. Ada. I see, thank you. She got up and turned her back on him, but before leaving, she eyed him one last time. Ada. By the way, I'm using your homunculus method and system to heal Lord Shadow. Rimuru. I see, good for him I guess. His eyes on his experiment, he didn't seem to care at all about what she said. Ada nodded sadly and left afterward. Once she was gone, Rimuru finally stopped manipulating his new uniform and looked up at the door. Rimuru. It's the same for me, Ada. I don't want to fight you or the other, so let's just hope for the best. He thought before returning to his work. After that, a few weeks passed and Sid had yet to come back. Claire was getting more and more impatient. So Rimuru decided to take her out to the Lawless city to chill out. Beatrix said she had something to do, which was mainly preparing herself mentally to meet her parent-in-law. Because of Rimuru's outburst, she wasn't able to meet his parents as promised. So Beatrix decided to let some time pass before reaching, but to her surprise Rimuru one day came and told her that after he managed to cool off Claire a little, he would then take her to finally meet his parents. Naturally Beatrix was overjoyed, but now she had to think about proper clothes to wear and a bunch of other things. And so, Rimuru and Claire left for the Lawless city. There they just walked around looking for something entertaining. Rimuru. Are you hungry? Claire. No, Eileen. Ni-san, are you sure Sid is okay? Turning to her brother worried, Rimuru stared at her for a moment before nodding. Rimuru. He just needs some more time, so don't worry too much. Sid wouldn't like to see his sister like that. Claire. I see. After this very short interaction, they both continued and stopped at a few food stands or shops. Nothing much happened until night started to fall. The sky turned red as a bloody moon rose. The Lawless city is known to be the cesspool of crime and villainy where illegal activity is allowed. Rimuru isn't stupid. He wouldn't have taken his precious sister to such a place for no reason. He had a feeling this place could help him with his memories, and also he wanted to show Claire how unfair the world was. Midgar isn't the best place on the planet, but compared to the Lawless city, Midgar is a paradise where rules reign. The Lawless city is ruled by 3 monarchs, each having their own tower. The White Tower of Yukime, the Enchantress, the Black Tower of Juggernaut, the Tyrant, and finally the Crimson Tower of the late Elizabeth, the Blood Queen. The city welcomes every race, and this can be seen with the diversity, as there is elf, beastkin, or even vampire. Even if the last one was almost gone. Coming back to the present, there is a legend about the Crimson Tower where on the night of a red moon, the deceased Blood Queen would be brought back to life. But during this red night, the city would be flooded with zombie-like monsters contaminating others. The streets were slowly getting filled with these zombies as everyone started to panic. Claire. Ni-san. We should leave now, she yelled while cutting down one of the rotten corpses. They seemed to be mindless, so she had no hesitation ending them. Rimuru. You can leave first, I'll have some business here. Rimuru too was fighting. He held a normal sword, not wanting to use oblivion for meaningless things like that. Dancing around the crowd of zombies, his attacks were fast and left none of them a chance to even react. He quickly ran through them before jumping and landing near a capped woman, his hand quickly grabbing her shoulder and startling her. Rimuru. Stop here, you are a vampire, right? The woman flinched and turned to him, her arm reaching out trying to grab his neck and silence him, but the moment she saw his pair of bloody red eyes, the woman flinched and felt her body freeze. Rimuru. Your destination is the Crimson Tower, right? I'll follow you. Claire. Wait, Ni-san, I'll come with you too. Suddenly appearing, the sword in her hand was dripping in blood. The woman's eyes widened when she saw the uncountable corpse behind Claire. Recomposing from the shock Rimuru left in her, she thought about it and could these two to accomplish her goal. Mary. My name is Mary. I will guide you to the Crimson Tower, but in exchange will you help me? Rimuru. What's your goal? Mary. I am a vampire hunter, and thus my goal is to eliminate the vampire progenitor, the Blood Queen. Rimuru easily saw through her lie but ignored it. He just needed her as a guide. Once there, what she did wasn't his problem. Rimuru. Very well, and Claire will be sure to stay near me. Claire. Hi. The three then started their small adventure toward the Crimson Tower. Though at the same time, multiple other people were moving at the same time. Among them the other 2 and still living monarchs, a unit of Shadow Garden, and the remaining vampire whose goal is to resurrect the Blood Queen. Crimson, a vampire male, was standing at the top of the Crimson Tower. Since the monarch is gone, he is the one managing the tower, and right now, he started at a coffin with multiple human corpses around. They were sacrifices needed for the Blood Queen's resurrection. Crimson. So Yukime, the Enchantress, and Juggernaut, the Tyrant are both coming this way. Well, it doesn't matter, when they arrive the ritual should be already done. But suddenly, he received a thought report from one of his subordinates. It reported that there was a third group leading toward the Crimson Tower. Crimson. Rimuru Kaganu? If I'm right, he is a genius swordsman with massive ability and sword skill. His eyes narrowed, but for him, Rimuru was just another interference. His goal is to resurrect his master. So having 2 or 3 strong people coming there isn't that much of a problem. Down the tower at the entrance, a demon was guarding the gate. He was clothed in white and even called the White Demon. In front of him were adventurers who unfortunately crossed his path, a vicious smile on his face as he killed them mercilessly. A giant scythe in his hand, he was a psychotic monster who was tasked to kill anyone trying to enter the Crimson Tower. But I couldn't predict his next few guests. White Demon. Kufufufu, this is so fun hearing their scream while their blood gushes everywhere. He was grinning to himself when sudden step sounds were heard from behind, his grin deepened thinking that more fun was incoming. But the moment he turned around, he froze as the one who passed by was one of the monarchs. Yukime. You're boring, don't stay in the middle of the road. Covering her face with her fan and casually walking past him without even a glance, the White Demon then turned to his right and flinched upon seeing another monarch, the tyrant. Juggernaut. You damn fox, don't go ahead, I'm the one who will destroy this goddamn tower. The two of them were clashing a minute ago but at the end stopped as they had a common goal and it was the Crimson Tower. They also stopped because as strong individuals they were more capable than most and so they could feel the strong third presence coming this way. If they had stayed here longer to fight each other, then this third presence would have arrived and stolen the boss. This third presence is naturally Rimuru as he didn't bother to hide himself. He was releasing an insane amount of magic quickly destroying before any zombie could even approach them. And this alerted the two monarchs who decided to deal with the Blood Queen first. They also weren't aware of that, but a fourth party is already in Shadow Garden. White Demon. The Enchantress and Tyrant, they aren't people I can beat. Judging the situation too dangerous, he reluctantly let them pass. Shortly after another group of people was coming his way. He turned to them ready to kill them and let out his frustration but the feeling of pure fear paralyzed him. Three people walking slowly, the pair of red eyes from the blue-haired individual made his blood rush yelling at him to run. Mary. Be careful, this guardian is the Rimuru, an insect that should know his place. Cutting her off, Rimuru unsheathed his sword and made a single clean slash. This alone was enough to split the White Demon in half. Along that, the gate was cut wide open. Mary's eyes widened as her blood went cold. This was beyond anything she had seen in her long life. What more is that this was just a simple movement with his sword, not even magic enhanced. Mary. This man is dangerous. Claire. Whoa, who is this man anyway? Mary. And this girl is clueless. Out of everyone, I really got the weird fruit from the basket. Rimuru. As I said, he was just an insect. Anyway, let's go. I can feel a ton of magic gathering at one place. Looking up, Rimuru already recognized a spell from his past life, a technique to bring someone back to life through it only works with certain races. Mary. Wait, you can see that, Rimuru. Yes, it's coming from the top. Mary. That's great, with you we can reach the ritual room faster. Claire. Ritual? Seeing the confused look on Claire's face, Mary turned to her and started explaining. Mary. When the red moon is up, the Blood Queen can be resurrected through a ritual that consists in gathering a giant amount of mana and a few sacrifices. Claire. I see, so we have to be fast before the sacrifices are used? Rimuru. No, I think the unfortunate ones are already dead, the Blood Queen is also incoming. I can already feel her presence. Unconsciously, Mary smiled. In reality she wasn't really a vampire hunter. No, instead she was a vampire herself. Formerly a human 1,000 years ago, she had known the Blood Queen and was her right arm. Her goals didn't change all these years. She just wanted her queen back and her to be happy. Rimuru. Let's go. I can also feel your presence.